Welcome guys to the Meet Damien channel. I am Damien, and today's live stream we're going to be talking about tariffs once more again. We got some more tariffs affecting the markets, and you know, there's still a trade war going on with China. We got this news article here, okay, as I get into it. This news article here saying that Trump's 104% tariffs on China are going to take effect at midnight tonight. Okay, global markets had previously posted gains on the hopes of negotiations, but that got quashed. All the early market gains earlier today got squashed today. It goes on here to say that the United States said on Tuesday that 104% duties on imports from China will take effect shortly after midnight, even as the Trump administration moved to quickly start talks with other trading partners targeted by President Donald Trump's sweeping tariff plan. Stocks retreated on the news. Global markets had previously posted gains on hopes that Trump might be willing to negotiate down the array of country and product-specific trade barriers he erected around the world's largest consumer market. The administration has scheduled talks with South Korea, Japan, two close allies and major trading partners, and Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni is due to visit next week. But the White House made clear that country-specific tariffs of up to 50% would nevertheless take effect at 12:01 Eastern time as planned. Okay, so the market was going up because you know, there were hopes that, you know, talks with Japan and Italy, South Korea are going to cause Trump to scale back his tariffs, but then here we are again with China. China wants to go toe-to-toe with the tariffs against Donald Trump, and they're willing to fight it out. So it looks like markets are reacting negatively to that. We'll take a look at the price of Bitcoin on the charts here. You can see that the price of Bitcoin is currently trading at $77,000. Okay, down about 2.68%. This for today. We were up earlier. If I zoom in, I'm going to zoom into the 15-minute chart here. You can see what happened during the day here. We did have a nice bounce back from like Monday, right, where things were looking pretty good. We were climbing up and to the right. We actually got above the 15. We got above the 200 moving average on the 15-minute time frame here, which looks like it actually acted as resistance here, because going into like last night and then this morning, we kind of like followed that 200-day moving average downward. Then we came above it early this morning as people were getting hopeful that Donald Trump was willing to negotiate on his tariffs here. But then we got the news that China, right? China is gonna get hit with more tariffs because they're not willing to cooperate with Donald Trump on the tariffs here. So that news hit out around like 1 o'clock this afternoon, and you can see that the markets just continue going into the red here. We had like a nice little bear flag here, caught a little bit of support on the 100 moving average on the 15 minute time frame. But then here we are making another bear flag and making another kind of like a double bottom possibly, or another bear flag as well on the Bitcoin charts here. So Bitcoin is currently struggling, but some people, I've been listening to talking heads on CNBC and listening and doing a little bit of reading on the tariff news here. Some people are anticipating that China, right, because they're getting hit with all these tariffs and their market is going down right now. The Chinese government is actually devaluing the yuan right now, and with them devaluing the yuan, Chinese investors are trying to get out of that currency, and there's some speculation that Chinese investors are actually going to be buying Bitcoin soon here. So we might have a little bit of buying pressure coming in from Chinese investors trying to get out of their currency and buy Bitcoin instead of being in the Chinese yuan. Okay, let's take a look at the 1 minute time frame for Bitcoin. The 1 minute time frame is showing a little bit of hope here, okay, that we might be bottoming out. Like I said, I saw right here, okay, I saw this first bottom here at like 1:30 in the afternoon, okay, East Coast time here. Then I saw what could have been possible double bottom here, but that got negated and invalidated because we actually made a lower bottom. But you could still count this as a double bottom because the way double bottoms work is as long as you're within like 1 to 3%, right? If you're within 1 to 3% of the bottoms, you can count that as a twin bottom or a double bottom. So that is like within the threshold here. So we might be double bottoming here at like 76,000. Let's see, what's the low that we got down here? $76,200 Bitcoin could be the low for the day. And we might be going up from here. Okay, now it's not going to be straight up. Okay, we got to get above this red line here, this 200-day moving average. As you can see, we are trying to get above that 200-day moving average. Before, it was acting as resistance, okay, earlier in the day, okay, and sometimes we didn't even make it up to that 200-day moving average. We lost that 200-day moving average right here around like 10 o'clock in the morning, East Coast time here, 10:20 Eastern time, okay, and we just been going down, but it looks like we're kind of settling up here. Looks like traders are starting to throw their hat in the ring here again for $76,000 Bitcoin. We'll see if $76,000 Bitcoin can hold. But yeah, you can see that we have been peeking our head up recently. In about the last 15 minutes, we've been at like $77,000 Bitcoin. So we'll see, okay? You want to see this trend line here, okay? You want to see us continue making higher lows here, like this. And then we can treat that as, just us becoming slightly bullish here on Bitcoin. But however, just zooming out, right? This could just be another bear flag, okay? So nothing's set in stone here, okay? If this is going to be another bear flag, then the way we measure this, okay, we measure from where we broke down to this very bottom here at $76,200 Bitcoin, and you take that measured move, you put it to like where we could possibly break down from this trend line here, okay, this bear flag, and it says that we could probably see $75,000 Bitcoin, that blue number there, $75,500 Bitcoin, and yeah, that could happen later on today or tonight. So there's no guarantees. Like if you're day trading this, be careful. All right, you want to stay to the 15-minute time frame or one of these smaller time frames here, and you just want to see that we're able to stay above this trend line here. And if you're day trading this, okay, for my day traders out there, you want to see us get above this white line, this 21 EMA, and then I would probably put like my take profit right here at like $78,300 Bitcoin, where 200 moving averages on the 15-minute time frame. And you know, whatever leverage trading you're using, that should be a nice payout there, going from 77 or a little below $77,000 to $78,000 Bitcoin. That should be a good payout for most traders out there. And then you can take the reverse of that trade and just short Bitcoin one more time, as will most likely probably get rejected off of that 200 moving average on the 15-minute time frame here. So you can stick to the 15-minute time frame and see how that works with the moving averages here. And you're just playing that maybe you're catching the bottom here, and you're looking for like a 1,000-point move here, where you might get rejected again on the 200 moving average on the 15-minute time frame. Okay, and then you can just game plan. Your stop loss could be probably about $76,000 or $76,100 could be a good stop loss to be putting in here on your Bitcoin trade here if you're going long right now. Let's see. I'll take a look at the comments right here, see if there's any requests. I think I'm ready to start doing some requests here. We kind of just covered Bitcoin here, but I am going to be finishing up talking about the long-term bearish target on Bitcoin, and then we can talk about some of the altcoins here. And if you guys have any stocks, we can take a look at stocks as well. Okay. But yeah, we'll finish it up here on Bitcoin, and we'll get some of the other altcoins out there. All right. So, longer term time frames. You know, if I go out to the 1 hour time frame, or maybe even like the 4 hour time frame here. Yeah, let's look at the 4 hour time frame here. How far could Bitcoin possibly go? Well, if this is still a bear flag, or if this bear flag is playing out, then we have to, you know, draw it out here one more time here on the charts. Okay, you got your flagpole here. You got your obvious trend line up that looks like it's breaking down again. And if we are going to continue being bearish on Bitcoin, I mean, you do have like a bearish target of like $69,000 Bitcoin here. Okay. And I think looking at some other charts here, actually, no, I'll stick to this chart. If I go out to the 3-day time frame on Bitcoin, you can see that we have 100 moving average support here, this blue line at like $72,000 Bitcoin. That could possibly be another bearish price target for Bitcoin. So anywhere between like $69,000 to like $72,000 might be a good area to scoop up some Bitcoin. I don't like relying on just one indicator, so I'm not going to just rely on the moving averages here. But the chart pattern, the bear flag is saying that we could go down to that level. Okay. The 100-day moving average is saying that we could go down to $72,000. And then if I turn on the VRVP, let's just see what the VRVP is saying. VRVP has a high volume node here at like $69,000. Also a little bit here at like $72,000. So I think, yeah, we could probably see Bitcoin come to $69,000, $72,000 in the medium term here. Okay. Possibly later on this week or next week, I would say, as we continue getting some more bearish news in the markets here. Hopefully that's not the case, because I know some people are in crypto and they want to see the price go up. But right now the charts are saying that we could possibly go down some more. Okay. And I think $69,000 and anywhere between $69,000 and $72,000 might be a good buy zone area for Bitcoin. So that's pretty much my take there on Bitcoin. Let's see. Let me see if I got. Yeah, we'll take a look at some other prices here. Now look at this. I see Bitcoin is currently bouncing back up to like $77,000. So there's a little bit of a fight here. We'll see if Bitcoin can stay above. You know, going back to the 15-minute time frame. If Bitcoin can stay above those double bottoms that I just created here, above like $76,200 Bitcoin, we'll see if we actually stay above that level. Okay. Let's go ahead and take a look at some other cryptos here. We'll take a look at XRP. XRP currently trading at $1.82, down 4.1% today. And XRP on the 15-minute time frame, right? Let me go back. We'll start from the top down, okay? We'll look at the daily chart here on XRP. XRP on the daily time frame here is starting to lose that 200 moving average. So we're now starting to become really concerned about XRP here, guys. Okay, the 200 moving average is at $1.85, and we're 4 cents below that right now on XRP. So where could XRP go down next if it continues being bearish? We do have some sideways trading action here. Back in like November of last year, where I'm still holding true that we could see XRP come down to like $1.45, $1.50. Okay, that happens to be where we have also high volume node here at $1.45 on the VRVP here. And if it continues going down even more, then you got the next VRVP node here at like $1.06 for XRP. So those could be your next bearish targets here. Let me just get rid of the VRVP here. You can see that, XRP, what was concerning, and I made a TikTok and a YouTube short about this, but, XRP has been creating this big, giant head and shoulder pattern. You got the left shoulder here, you got the head, and you got the right shoulder here. And the ultimate target for that head and shoulder is that XRP could come down to like 58 cents. I showed that in my previous chart work here. But if I turn on the VRVP here one more time, you'll see that, yeah, XRP could come down to 58 cents is where the point of control, that blue line, is sitting at. So be very careful out there, guys, with XRP. It could be, it could be a fast drop down, just like we had a fast pop up. Okay? So you got to be careful out there. You got a lot of gaps in the VRVP here. It can be very brutal for XRP over the next few days and few weeks if we continue losing our support levels here. But we first got to see if the $1.45, $1.50 holds, and then also here at $1.06. We'll see if that can hold as well for XRP. Okay, Ripple. Let's go ahead and take a look at Ethereum, and then we'll take a look at Solana after that. We got Ethereum currently trading at 1471, and it's just been in this bearish trend ever since like December. That's not good. Like, let me go ahead and get rid of the VRVP here real quick. You can see that it's just been down and to the right. Okay, we want to go up and to the right, not down and to the right. You guys are losing money here on Ethereum. And I did measure a previous bear flag here, right? We had this measured move here coming from this area right here, that we said that, if Ethereum continues being bearish, then the bear target should be like somewhere like right over here, where we would hit like 1558, and we came down to that level about a couple of days ago. Okay, but it looks like we're going down even more on Ethereum. Okay, so how far low could Ethereum go? Okay, I do see some sideways trading action here at like $1,200, so I believe like $1,200 could be the next bearish price target for Ethereum. And I'm sorry to be bearish here, guys, but that's literally what the markets are doing right now. You can't really say that we're bullish. We've broken through a lot of support levels here on Ethereum, and the next support levels is like 1,400, 1,300, and 1,200 here on Ethereum. Okay. And we're already at like 1,400, so where do we go next? We're probably going to go hit 1,200. All right, I got the VRVP, right? If I turn on the VRVP and I zoom out and gather this data here, you can see that we got high volume here at like 1,292 on Ethereum. Okay, and some more volume here, like $1,200. So we could see Ethereum come down to $1,200, unfortunately. Before, maybe we get a reaction off that level and we go up to higher prices. But yeah, $1,200 is currently up on deck for Ethereum if it continues being bearish. Yusuf, I hope I'm saying your name right. You're saying, do I think we are having alt season this year? I mean, we had like 2 alt seasons last year. We had one in March, in April of last year, and then we also had one, you could call it like November and December of last year. Are we gonna get altcoin season later on this year? You need to see a lot of things go right in the markets. Right now, Trump tariffs are beating up the overall markets, not just crypto, but stock markets getting beat up. The price of oil is at like below $60 a barrel. Oil's getting beat up. Seems like the only safe place to be is like treasuries at this point. Treasury prices are going up, but the interest rates are going down. To answer your question about altcoin season, like, yeah, we need the tariffs to get rolled back, in my opinion, and we need some of these ETFs to come out for these altcoins. Like, we're supposed to be getting like an XRP and a Solana ETF. If that comes into play, then that could be the beginning of the altcoin season. But I haven't heard any word about those ETFs coming into play. I think there's like another deadline in May where we might get, you know, a decision on an altcoin ETF. But yeah, HDZZ, you're down $5,000 on Ethereum. I'm sorry to hear that. A lot of people are losing money in the markets. You're not the only one. I'm also losing. Some of my spot bags are getting beaten up right now. I'm trying to trade the market, day trade it, try to make some money that way. But yeah, this is the time to be shorting the market. Well, I mean, the time to be shorting has been in like the last couple of months here, but yeah, after we lost like the 200 moving average on Ethereum, that probably should have been where you should have cut your losses here. If you're following the charts and you're following my live streams here, you know that I was getting really concerned when we lost like $2,900 on Ethereum back in like January and February of about a couple of months ago. Once you lost that 200 moving average, that's when you need to start becoming bearish and you need to start selling your, you know, your positions here on your altcoins. Because look, I mean, look what it's done. You know, ever since then, it's just been bearish for Ethereum. So I'm sorry to hear that, but we are getting close to some support levels here. It's not going to be the end of the world here. There will be a bottom at some point. We're just not sure yet. With these Trump tariffs, you know, are things going to get worse? Okay, is China going to then put more tariffs? We talked about this earlier on the video, the live stream, that Donald Trump just put more tariffs on China after China put more tariffs on America, and that was in response to America putting tariffs on China in the first place. So there's like escalation going on that's causing the markets to continue to lose money here. So yeah, let me take a look at some of these comments here. Yeah, Trump is pushing money to the treasury bonds to make Powell drop interest rate. That's a conspiracy theory. Yes, that's a theory that some people are thinking. I really do think that Trump is trying to get jobs back and factories back in America, and he doesn't care as long if it's at the expense of, you know, interest rates and at the expense of the markets. I believe that Trump is more laser focused on getting jobs and factories back at any cost right now. But, you know, another theory is that Trump is actually trying to weaken China because China is getting stronger both economically and military power wise. And what a way to punish China than to hurt their economy with tariffs and you know, also hurt them militarily wise, because how would they be able to pay for more military equipment if they're struggling to sell, you know, goods and products to America? They're gonna have to find other markets to sell to. So I think that's another theory behind it. But yeah, there's a theory that he's trying to lower interest rates, and that's a possibility. It does play into his cards that this is gonna force interest rates to go down as well. So yeah, I think that's just icing on the cake for Trump. He gets everything that he wants by using tariffs right now. HDZZZ. Well, if you sell now, you're gonna be selling at a loss on your Ethereum investment, and you know, I think there might be some more support at $1,200. So I'm not a financial advisor. I just give you your opinion. I'm not gonna tell you what to do with your money. You do whatever you want or need to do with your money. It's your money, okay? But if you're having a hard time sleeping at night, or if you're gonna need some of this money to pay for things later on this year, then maybe consider selling a little bit, not all of it, because if we do get a bounce back, if Trump rolls back tariffs, they cut interest rates at the Federal Reserve, and markets start pumping up again, you're going to be mad that you sold at the lows in the bottom here, if this is the bottom, okay? So, you know, I would probably take out whatever cash I need to survive, and then leave the rest of it in there for the bounce back, because if we do bounce back, you'll be able to get some of your money back on the bounce back, okay? But we've been waiting for this back on Ethereum ever since like middle of January. We still consider this a bull market when we were above that red line, the 200 moving average. But yeah, being below that 200 moving average, that would have been the time to start, you know, taking some money and some exposure off the table here. This would have been the time to get out of Ethereum back in like February. But you know, that's in the past. You can't pass the past. What are you gonna do now? Like I said, if going forward, you know, whatever cash that you need, if you gotta pay bills, if you were planning on doing something with your house or buying a car or something with this money, take out whatever you need to, like, for that down payment on the car or that down payment on the house or whatever you need to pay off your bills or whatever, and then you can just leave the rest in the markets and just wait for the markets to bounce back up again. And then that's how I would play it. That's my long answer to your question there. Yeah, I do think ETH will drop. I think it will go down to like $1,200 if we continue being bearish here. Let's see. Yeah, we'll move on to Solana. Solana is also having a bad day, just like Ethereum, but not as bad, actually. Okay. Solana is down 1.3%. It might get a worse day tomorrow, but yeah, Solana's only down $1.41 here. And I'm just zooming in on the charts here. This is the daily chart that we're looking at for Solana. Solana currently trading at 105 bucks. And I did have some like previous chart work here. Let me go ahead and clean things up here a little bit. But yeah, Solana is also bearish, and the time to get out of Solana, you know, I know this not going to help you now, but the time was like back when we lost that 200 moving average in February, okay? February 18th, February 17th. You know, once you lose that 200 moving average, it starts to become bearish, okay? And then you can see that we almost retested the 200 moving average here in the beginning of March, but we never actually touched it, but that was still just as bad because look at that. We immediately came right back down, and we're going down into the right here on Solana. Where can Solana start catching some support? We got this Fibonacci analysis from back in from previous chart work here. We got the 0.236 retracement level here, saying that Solana could come down to $85. I'm still holding true to that target there, that if we continue being bearish on Solana, the fib node is saying that we could come down to 85 bucks, okay? Now, if I zoom out and collect some data here, I'll turn on the VRVP. We'll see what the VRVP has to say. VRVP, these are the green and red bars here, are saying that, you know, currently we're at a high volume node here at like 105 bucks. You know, 105 bucks, $100 Solana is going to probably be a good psychological target where people will try to buy Solana. If it does dip below $100, they'll buy it up real quick. But once we know that we're losing $100 Solana, then the VRVP has a gap and you don't have much support here until like $74 Solana. Not even 85. I have to zoom in here a little bit. But yeah, you got like a little bit of a high volume here, like $73, $74 Solana. I don't really call that a high volume node. So 85 might not, we might slice right through 85, okay? Because the VRVP is saying that there's not really that much volume there. But yeah, $73 Solana could come into play here if we continue being bearish, and then then there's a gap, and then we might see like buyers start to come in and buy up $60 Solana, okay, if we continue being bearish, okay, on Solana. And that's pretty much all I got. Let me just check the 3-day here, see what the 3-day moving average is. Yeah, we're below the moving averages on the 3-day. And let me look at the weekly support here. There is a blue line here at like $87. Could be that's the 100 weekly moving average support for Solana. So maybe Solana does get some support at 85 or 87 bucks. But yeah, that's about it. I'm not going to be bullish on Solana until like looking at the 4-hour time frame. Let me get rid of the VRVP here real quick. It kind of gets a little annoying there, but we got to start making higher highs in order for me to be bullish on Solana. Okay, right now we got lower highs. We got lower high here, lower high, lower high. I want to see Solana get above that 200 moving average at $128. And then, you know, I wouldn't start being bullish on Solana until you get above like $146 here, okay? But we need to start making higher lows, maybe some bullish divergence, and then start making higher highs in order for us to get bullish on Solana here. All right, I got a little comment. I got some comments here. Let me see. If I have 1,000 to invest in SV, should I buy now? You're asking about the S&P 500 there, Paul. Let's go ahead and take a look at the S&P 500 since you mentioned it. I would recommend probably dollar cost averaging, to be honest with you, which would be, you know, buy a little bit this week, buy some more next week, buy some more the following week, and then buy some more the week after that. Okay. But let's try to be a little bit more precise to see if we can find out some targets here for you. Give me an idea as like where you could buy the S&P 500. Right now, the S&P 500 is about below 5,000 points here, down 1.57% today. Let's go into the daily chart here. You can see that the S&P 500 has lost all its moving average supports here. It's below the 50, the 100, and the 200-day moving average. So yikes. Okay. Let's go into the weekly time frame. See if there's any support on the weekly time frame here. You tried to get some support here on the 50 moving average, this green line here. Could have been support at like 5,100, but you lost that. So I mean, looks like we're coming down to the 100 and the 200 weekly moving average support here, and that is showing that you could be buying the S&P 500 at like $4,700, 4,700 points, or about anywhere between 46.77 and 47.58. So yeah, you can just say 4,700 is probably a good level to buy. You wouldn't be the only person looking at the S&P 500 and spotting those moving averages as a zone to be buying at. So you could probably front run it a little bit, and you know, if the S&P 500 comes down like even 100 more points, I would start buying a little bit of the S&P 500. You said you have $1,000 to put into the S&P 500. Maybe put like $250 in when it gets down to 4,800, and then another $250 when it gets to 4,700, and then we'll just see how that weekly support holds, if it does hold, and then, you know, then you'll still have $500 to play around with as you dollar cost average into the S&P 500. Hey Porky, glad to see that you made it into your live stream here. Appreciate you coming on board. We're looking at the S&P 500. Just had this question, you know, if someone had $1,000 right now, should they be buying the S&P 500 now, or should they wait till it gets lower? I already told them I'm not a financial advisor, but I told them like maybe now might be a good time to dollar cost average. Put some money in now. Okay, if we get the bounce back this week on the S&P 500, you know, if you bought like $250 worth of it right now, you won't be mad, because if this is the low, then you got in on the low, and then you can just dollar cost average again, put another 250 in the following week. Okay, but yeah, we're looking at the S&P 500. We can see that if the S&P 500 broke through all the moving average supports on the daily time frame. Now we're looking at the weekly time frame to see if there's any support here. I'll pull the VRVP, see if the VRVP agrees with any of the levels that I have here on the moving averages. You know, we got some high volume here, some high volume nodes at 4570 and 4500. So S&P 500 might disrespect these moving averages and go right down towards 4500. So I would just keep a little bit of dry powder in if you do have cash like that. You know, like I said, you can buy now, see if like you caught the bottom, but I still feel like we're going to continue going a little bit lower, as we don't know if China's going to escalate tariffs again, and same thing with Trump. So that could bring the markets down as people get more and more scared. And then we also have the inflation CPI report coming out on Thursday, and Friday I believe is like the PPI report. So if inflation is going up, that's not going to be good for the markets, and that could cause the S&P 500 to go down as well, because if inflation is going up, that means the Federal Reserve has to keep interest rates where they're at right now. And possibly, if inflation is actually going up, not down, then they might actually raise interest rates, and that's going to really kill the markets. Okay. But yeah, I think $4,700 and even for like $4,800, like I would just dollar cost average. I'd be like $4,800. Okay, you could just put lines on the chart here. Okay, you could buy now, but then maybe buy here at like 4,800, buy some more at like 4,700 where the moving averages are at. Okay, 4,700, and then buy some more S&P 500 at like 4,500. I think was the other target. Okay, you got those three red lines there. As my chart gets a little bit cluttered here, I'll take the VRVP off. Yeah, you just dollar cost average, buy 250 here, buy some more here, buy some more here. Okay, and just try to catch what could possibly be the lows for the year, possibly, but we'll see. All right, that's the S&P 500. Let's see if I got any other requests here. We got Azrael. How do I see Nvidia for tomorrow? I don't have a crystal ball. I'm not a psychic, but I can take a look at the charts and try to give an idea as like what's going on with Nvidia here. I think these Trump tariffs and, you know, China escalating tariffs on the United States, I don't see how that could be good for Nvidia and China and America here, but we'll see. Let's see, Nvidia currently at $96.30, down 1.3% today. We're looking at the weekly time frame because it seems like everything is below the daily moving averages here. If I go to the daily chart, you'll see that, yeah, we lost all the moving average supports here, so might as well look at it from the weekly time frame here. Okay, Nvidia is trying to get some support here on the 50 moving average at $89.29. Let's see, we came a little bit below that earlier this week at like 86.62. You could be also seeing if maybe you could get filled and get some buy orders in at the 100 and 200 moving average support. Between 55 and 65 should be a good, really good generational buying opportunity to get some cheap Nvidia at those prices. Okay, between like, we'll just say $60 here on Nvidia. I don't think that's gonna happen tomorrow. to answer your question, you were asking me about what's going to happen with tomorrow. But I'm saying like over the next few weeks, if we continue being bearish here, you could buy some really cheap Nvidia. I think you get some at like anywhere between 55 and 65 here. Is where those moving average supports are sitting at on the weekly time frame. Let me turn on the VRVP here, see what the VRVP has to say. You got a value area high currently where we're almost where we're at right now, like 85, 86 bucks. So that's probably why the weekly time frame came down. We came down to like 86 bucks on Nvidia before we bounced off. We basically bounced off that value area high, this white line right here at like 85, 86 bucks. But if we continue to go lower, you know, you got all this VRVP data here. There's some volume at like 80 bucks. Then there's also some volume at 70 bucks. Then we start talking about like maybe 55 and 65 bucks here. But you got a very significant high volume node here at like 50 bucks. So I think like if Nvidia does come down to 50 bucks, people are going to be like buying that up hand over fist. You better put in your buy orders in if you want to get in that price, because I don't think you're going to see Nvidia go down to $50 and go below it and then stay below it for any length of time. It could just be like 1 day or 1 hour and then that's it. Then Nvidia is probably going to be bouncing off of 50 bucks. But yeah, there's a lot of support here at 50 bucks. And you might not even get that level. But yeah, going into tomorrow, let's see. Let me go into the smaller time frames here. 15-minute time frame, see what it looks like here on Nvidia. You got a point of control here at 94 bucks, so maybe Nvidia comes back and revisits $94 tomorrow. You got a value area low here at like $92, so maybe $92 could possibly be in play if we continue being bearish going into tomorrow. But yeah, I think point of control wise, you could see $94. That's like a magnetic. The price is magnetically attracted to that blue line, the point of control. And then if Nvidia, for some reason, if we get some good news tomorrow, if China decides to back off or some countries start doing deals with the United States and the markets start feeling better about the state of the global economy here, you got, you know, some gaps here. But yeah, Nvidia could come right up to this value area high at like 103 bucks. And let's see, that, you know, it was at 103 bucks what, earlier today. Yeah. So, you know, you're getting, if you were to buy Nvidia right now, you're hoping that you could probably, if you're day trading it, you can sell it for like 103 bucks maybe later on to tomorrow. And $103 is also where this red line, the 200 moving average, is at on the 15-minute time frame here. So I would say, yeah, you could buy here at 90, 94, 95 bucks. Try to sell it for 103 bucks if you're day trading it. But yeah, you asking me about what Nvidia is going to be like tomorrow, so I'm assuming you're day trading it. That's why I'm in the smaller time frame here. Caden has a question. What do I recommend for trading crypto on the PC? And then HDZZ is asking me, do I hold any crypto? Yes, I hold crypto. Some of my biggest holdings are Solana and Sui at this current moment in time. I'm trying to build up my Bitcoin position again. And then going forward, you might want to avoid altcoins. Buying Bitcoin is probably better to be doing during a bear market, so I would stick to buying Bitcoin and some of the high market cryptos like Solana and XRP or Ethereum before I would start doing other altcoins. But yeah, I do have altcoins. I even have some meme coins, and I have some AI coins. But yeah, if that answers your question there. Let's see, what was the other question here? What website do I recommend for trading crypto on the PC? So exchanges, you want to go on a cryptocurrency exchange, and some cryptocurrency exchanges I'm assuming you're from the United States, but if you're in the United States, you could use Kraken is a cryptocurrency exchange, or Coinbase is another cryptocurrency exchange to buy and trade and sell your cryptos. If you're asking what website I'm using to look at these assets, like, you know, stocks and cryptos right now, I'm using this website called TradingView. You can use TradingView to look at these stocks and these cryptos. So yeah, take a look at www.tradingview.com, and then you start looking at these charts like I'm looking at. Ant saying he's loading up on HBAR while it's cheap. Okay. Jay Finney saying, what do I think about 17 million of Bitcoin waiting at 75K? Are you saying that there's a buy order in at 75K? One of the whales trying to buy Bitcoin at 75K? That would make sense. Let me see what Bitcoin is doing right now. Currently at $76,900. I got all this previous chart work here. I can see Bitcoin coming right down into that 75K area, to be honest with you. We have like this possible bear flag that's starting to form, and if that bear flag breaks out where we're at right now, you could see $75,000 Bitcoin later on tonight. So whoever's trying to buy, you know, millions of dollars of Bitcoin at that level, they might get that order filled later on tonight. Kaden, you're using Coinbase. You're wondering if there's anything better. Like I said, you know, another good exchange that's been around for a while is Kraken. Then I think there's another exchange like Gemini. Gemini is another American exchange. Yeah, and it's good to have more than one exchange, so you should be looking to get another exchange, because if something happens to that exchange, like, you're gonna be shit out of luck, you know. It could be an outage. It doesn't even have to be it going bankrupt. It could just be, you know, an outage, and then, you know, how do you sell your crypto or buy crypto if the exchange is down? All right, let's see. I guess on the order book, yeah. I mean, let's take a look at the liquidation heat map. See where the liquidity might be. Looking at Binance Exchange for the liquidity heat map. Okay, it's been doing this to me earlier today. I don't know if this website something's up with this website, but I'm trying to pull up the liquidation heat map here, and it's having a hard time loading up. Porky says, true gains come from overseas shady exchanges. If you want to get a VPN, you can use some of these overseas exchanges that Porky's talking about, like Mexi or Weeks. And then you got Binance is very popular. I would probably start off with Binance. It's okay, this liquidation heat map is just not loading up for me. Nice. I can't really pull up the data that I'm looking for right now, because liquidation heat map is just not working right now. Okay, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. But yeah, I'll take your word for it that there's a big order at $75,000 Bitcoin. It makes sense. I think Bitcoin might come down to that level later on tonight if we continue being bearish here. But looks like we're trying to hold on to 77K here on Bitcoin. See what some of my other messages are saying here. The narrow Pathic is asking me what kind of tokens am I looking at? What kind of tokens am I trying to get into right now? To be honest with you, since we're in a bear market, it's clearly obvious that we're in a bear market, and we got a lot of bearish things going on and around the world, okay, with these Trump tariffs and stuff like that. I'm sticking to Bitcoin at this point. When I start adding, like I got some cash right now, some dry powder. And I'm just buying Bitcoin. I'm trading this just like I did back in 2022 when we had the last bear market in crypto. You know, I was in cash all throughout most of 2022. I didn't actually start buying Bitcoin and crypto until FTX. Once I saw that FTX bankruptcy disaster, I bought Bitcoin at like $17,000, and I bought some Solana at like 16 bucks, and I bought like some Ethereum at $1,000. And that's how I would do it. I would stick to high market cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP. I would stick to those coins for now, because they're not going to go down as hard as the other coins while we're in this bear market. While we're, you know, some people aren't even calling it a bear market, but you know, while we're in this correction, okay? Because I know some people like, oh, 30% down is like a Tuesday in crypto. It's just another Tuesday. Okay, but yeah, I think being down 30% on Bitcoin and even 50% or more on these other cryptos, that's a bear market to me. And I don't want to be anything more riskier than Bitcoin, to be honest. I am looking at like Sui. I like Sui as another one, and Aptos, AVAX are some other good coins. Once you get a feel for the bottom is starting to form and we're not going lower, I would start looking at some of these other altcoins like Sui and Aptos, AVAX, maybe Cardano, Render. Yeah. You're saying that Sui is on Ondo. Most of those tokens are on Ondo ecosystem, and Ondo uses ZBEC. Okay. You say that you have XCN and you took profits, and now you're just doing staking. I think that's a good move right now. Like, you know, being in coins that actually pay you rewards or pay you a dividend is a good coin to be in while we're in this bear market, while we're waiting for things to go back up again. So if that's the case, if you're looking for yields, okay, you know, Solana has yields, Ethereum has a yield, a dividend, or staking rewards. AVAX has staking rewards. Cardano has staking rewards. So those might be some coins to be holding on to while we're waiting for higher prices here. So yeah, I clicked on Sui. Let's take a look at what Sui's doing here. I think going forward, once we get out of this bear market and things start becoming bullish again, I think Sui will have a nice pop back up. It's got a lot of good things going for it. But right now, you know, Sui is, in my opinion, it's in a bear market because, or at least the chart, you know, Sui itself is in a bear market because, I mean, we've seen Sui as high as $5, okay? $5.30 back in January. We're like down 60% from that. In stock market world, anything that's below 20% from its most significant recent high is considered a bear market. So I would call this a bear market for Sui. And then what really confirms that we're in a bear market on Sui is we're below the 200 moving average as well on the daily time frame. So, you know, once we lost that 200 moving average in March, early March here, that's when you really should have been cutting your losses on Sui. And yeah, let's see if there's any support here for Sui. We'll turn on the VRVP. I love that indicator because it kind of gives me ideas like where the support levels might be next, and some levels that you might not have thought of. Okay, but anyways, yeah, Sui has some high volume currently where it's at, but we have some more high volume a little bit below where we're at like $1.73. Then you got $1.55. Then you got this big gap. If $1.55 can't hold on Sui, then look out below because you could come right down to like $1.14 on Sui. Okay. I know some guys like to do Fibonacci analysis, and I could do a little Fib level analysis on Sui as well. Just clean things up here. I got almost like a naked chart now. And let's see. We'll measure from the top here, like what, $5.37 SUI. And we'll see, we'll measure that down to the impulse here back in like August, when SUI was at like 79, 80 cents here. And you got a deep retracement level of 0.236, says that SUI at $1.88. Oh, wow. See? So, like, even if you were to do Fibonacci analysis, unless you're putting more levels on your fib levels here, I mean, we're already at the deep retracement level for SUI. Okay, SUI should be getting some support at $1.88. Let me see if I can. I'm sorry. Yeah, for my TikTok viewers here, this 0.236 level at $1.88 should be strong support area for SUI. I'll turn on the VRVP, see if it agrees with that number as well. $1.88. Yes, yeah, it's some high volume at $1.88. So yeah, $1.88 should be should probably be the line in the sand for the bulls, and then after that, I mean, you're gonna go down to like $1.50, and then $1.14 if you're not able to maintain those levels there. Ant says if SUI goes under $1.50, you're putting $5,000 into it. Okay, that's a good level to get into, I would say. I was actually buying SUI last year in like October. I think the lowest price I got in at was like $1.65. So if you're able to get it for $1.50, you're doing better than me. But I might actually buy some at that area too. I still got some dry powder, remember. I might decide to go put my hat in the ring at $1.50 as well. Brent, are you asking me if I'm bullish? I'm bullish on like treasury bonds right now. Everybody's scared. I can't be bullish on anything that is risk on right now, because we have all this tariffs, escalating tariffs going on. China's saying that they're willing to go to total war on the trade war with America. What does that mean? Do we gotta slap on another 100% tariffs? Are we gonna have 200% tariffs on China and them putting 200% tariffs on us? I mean, I think China is gonna be the problem child going forward. I think going forward, you know, for us to be bullish, I think a lot of these countries are going to change their ways with the way they do business with America. And then that's when the markets will start feeling better and we'll go up to higher prices here. But I think China and America are just going to be butting heads for the rest of Trump's you know, 4-year term in office. And then there's some speculation that the trade war could turn into an actual war if they start fighting over Taiwan. So what is that going to do to the markets? So I'm not going to be bullish until we start hearing some good news about these other countries doing deals with America. That's when I would start being bullish, to be honest with you. Yeah, 104% tariffs on China. They go into effect tonight, 12 o'clock, midnight. Yep. It is crazy stuff. Narrow, you were talking about H-bar. Let's take a look at H-bar since you mentioned it. Let's see how your H-bar is doing here. Looking at the daily time frame on H-bar. H-bar is currently at 15 cents, down 1.6% today. Looking at the naked chart here with no moving averages, nothing, no indicators here. Just you can just tell that, you know, this thing is going down and to the right, so you're in a bearish trend here on H-bar. I see some sideways trading action here on H-bar at like 14 cents, so maybe there's some support at that level. But if you're not going to be able to hold like 11 or 14 cents, then I can see H-bar coming down to like right over here at like 5 cents. So be careful with your H-bar. put your stop losses in. You know, whatever you're willing to lose. If you were to buy H bar right now at like 15 cents, and you put your stop loss at 10 cents or 9 cents, you're risking about 33% on that stop loss. Let me just measure that out for you. Right. You come right down to like 10 cents here. You got like a 30% stop loss that you would have. You're willing to lose 30% of your money if this thing does come down to like 10 cents. Okay. Let's turn on the VRVP, see what the VRVP has to say. You got here some high volume node levels here at 12 cents. So you might get some support on 12 cents. Also, looking back at this last candle here, this was what? Yesterday? We saw H bar go down to 12 cents. 12.5 cents, roughly. So, I think you could probably scoop up and buy some more cheaper H bar at like 12.5 cents here. You might even get it for like 11 cents here. But I think, you know, just using some risk management here, you should put a stop loss at like 10 or 9 cents, because if you lose 10 cents here on H bar, you got this big gap, and then you got your next volume here saying that you could get some support at like 8 cents. But then you got another gap here, and then it says you could come right down to like 6 cents. And then you got the point of control at 5 cents. So this thing continues being bearish, and we don't respect these levels here. You could end up losing about 60% of your money instead of 30 or 20%. Let me go ahead and put the moving averages. Is there any support on the moving averages? No, there's no support on the moving averages. Okay, let's put in the weekly moving averages here. Huh, interesting. So you got a 200 moving average, this red line, right? Let me get rid of the VRVP. 200 moving average is saying that there's some support here at 13 cents. Then the 50 is showing support at like 10.5 cents. So you got like the weekly moving averages are also trying to give you some support in between 9 and 10 cents. And currently you're at the 200, which is giving you support at 13 cents. So you might be getting close to bottoming out here on H bar, and those moving averages on the weekly time frame might be giving you some support. And then of course, you know, the VRVP is also saying that there's some support at like 11 and 12 cents here as well. So you might be getting close to bottoming out on H bar. I guess I really shouldn't say that until we see some either a double bottom or higher lows, maybe some bullish divergence. Let's go back into the daily time frame here. Are you getting... I don't really see bullish divergence yet. I don't see bullish divergence showing up on the RSI here. And I don't see any higher lows either. So this thing could probably continue going down, to be honest with you, to somewhere between 10 and 13 cents. Those are my buy zone targets for H bar. Hope that helps you. If you plan on, if you got some dry powder and you got some extra cash. Nikki says he's tired of winning with Trump. I said the same thing about like last week. I think I'm getting tired of winning. I want to know what losing feels like now with Trump. Trump said that we're gonna get so sick and tired of winning that we're gonna beg that for no more winning. And right now, winning feels like losing, to be honest with you. So I want to know what losing with Trump feels like, to be honest. Does that mean the markets go up? We'll see. We'll see. Guys, I've been streaming for about an hour. Unless I got any more requests here, I think I'm gonna end this live stream. I got some other things I need to do. I got another live stream I want to catch. I want to catch Porky's live stream if he's still in the chat here. But yeah, guys, appreciate you coming out to the live stream here. All right. Don't forget to add me on Twitter. I should probably show you. I do have a Twitter here. Stay connected. If something happens to my my TikTok here, you can stay connected with me on the Meet Damien TikTok. I'm sorry, the Meet Damien Twitter X page here. Okay, I usually post when I go live on Twitter. I also have a Discord. Let's see, go into my Discord here. Got a Meet Damien Discord as well. Okay, you guys can come join the Meet Damien Discord channel for free, and we can share some ideas here. You'll also be able to keep up to date when I go live. Okay, I'm doing live streaming on YouTube and TikTok at the same time here, so you know, I appreciate you guys coming out here on TikTok, and I appreciate you guys coming out here on YouTube as well to check me out. And yeah, let's see, is there any more requests? Appreciate the follow. Don't forget to hit the follow if you're not following me, or subscribe for my YouTube subscribers. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well. But yeah. All right, yeah, we got one more request here, Ondo. I think Ondo is going to be the last one for today, okay? And then that's going to be it. Let's take a look at the Ondo for my my buddy here, M. So we're looking at the daily time frame here on Ondo. Ondo currently at 71 cents, down 5.4% today. And Ondo is below its daily moving averages here. Is this a good exchange that I want? I want to see if I can get something with more data than that. USDT. Let's see. Mexi exchange. Yeah. Yeah, okay, I got more data to work with here. So Ondo is obviously in a bear market and below its 200 moving average. Like I said, you know, anytime you're below the 200 moving average, look at that. You back tested it. That would have been the time to get out of your Ondo. But now that you're in it, you know, how much lower could it possibly go? I looks like I did some previous chart work here. I think Ondo could possibly come down to 58 cents as the ultimate bear target. You got some sideways trading action here at like well, actually you got sideways trading action right now at 70 cents here, but looks like you have some lows. You got a low here back in November at like 58 cents, right before Trump got elected. Let's turn the VRVP here, see what that VRVP says. And I'm going to zoom out to get some more data here. Let this thing reset. And wow, okay, so point of control. A lot of people bought Ondo at like $1.35, $1.36. So a lot of people are underwater now on Ondo. If Ondo is not able to hold where it's at right now at like 70 cents, then like I said, you know, 58 cents is probably your next target. But looking at the VRVP here, oh boy, you got yeah, 58 cents, and I think I saw something lower than that. What does it say? Well, ultimately, you got a lot of volume here, like 25 cents. So yikes! And then you got some volume here at 40 cents, and yeah, I would say 58 cents is where this thing could go next if we lose 70 cents, and then after losing 58 cents, I mean, you can come down to 27 cents and it wouldn't be a surprise. Yikes. Yikes, yikes, yikes. And let me see if I can come up with a bullish case here for you. The bullish case is you need to start making some higher lows here. I do see the beginnings of some bullish divergence that was trying to come into play about a week ago, 2 weeks ago. And the bullish divergence, for those who don't know, is you make lower lows here on the price, okay, obviously, but you're making higher lows here on the RSI, and that could be bullish divergence, which means that the bleeding should be stopping, and you know, you should be either trading sideways or possibly going up. It looks like we're deciding to go sideways here on Ondo, but I can't be bullish on Ondo until I see us making higher highs. On the daily time frame, you got looks like the last significant higher high. The last significant high was 95 cents. So you want to see Ondo get above 95 cents, basically get up to $1 before you can become optimistic and bullish on Ondo. Also, I want to see you get above that 21 EMA, which is sitting at 82 cents right now, which should be possible and doable. But what ends up happening is if you keep going down lower on price, then this white line also keeps going down lower until you're able to catch up and you know, and actually go up above it. But yeah, Ondo needs to prove something here. It needs to prove that it's not going to continue going lower here. And if it does go lower, I think the next stop, like I said, is at 58 cents. All right. Hopefully you enjoyed that analysis there. I wouldn't be bullish on Ondo until it gets above 95 cents. Okay. Bearish, next near-term bearish target is 58 cents. All right, guys, that's it for the Meet Damien channel. Be on the lookout for my live streams. I usually go live around this time, 6 p.m. East Coast time, Eastern time. And be on the lookout for some of my my YouTube shorts and some of my TikToks that I make on my short form content here. Okay. Other than that, I hope you guys. I wish you guys the best in this bear market that we're in. I'm gonna call it a bear market for sure. Yeah. And I hope you guys are able to make good on whatever investments and assets you decide to get into. Okay, take care, guys.